Hi friends, Suzanne here. Welcome to another Wildcard Wednesday video. For today's project, I am featuring this stamp set called Sweet Ice Cream. I'm going to try out these new water painters and I'm going to use some watercolor paper. I did want to mention that I have an online class featuring this stamp set and punch bundle. You can check out my blog if you're interested. The link is below. So what you see here is a couple of colors, or more than a couple of colors, and my watercolor paper. It's called Fluid 100, and Stampin' Up sells it. And I have stamped in two different colors. I'm using Flirty Flamingo on the bottom and Mango Melody on the top. And you can see how rough it goes on the watercolor paper. And this is even the smooth side of the watercolor paper. But once you activate it with water, you can see how those two colors blend. So I found with trial and error here that most of the colors that I use have a titch of yellow sort of in them. And I find that yellow works best, yellow based color. So Flirty Flamingo is a lighter tone. Basically, well, I shouldn't say yellow so much, but lighter colors. I found that when I did with reds and pinks and purples, they all they didn't move well. Maybe they dried up. I don't know. I find that it's easier for a nicer blend with the lighter colors of ink. I haven't tried them all, so I'm just going from what my experience was. So that's why I kept it to these four colors. And you saw what I did there. I sort of flipped the colors around. So Flirty Flamingo is on the bottom, and this is Coastal Cabana, and on the top is Granny Apple Green. And these two colors blended marvelously together, as you can see here. And I'm so used to using paintbrushes now that I have to have a little droplet of water on my non-porous surface there. So that's just a craft mat attached to my piercing mat. I have it on one side so that when I stamp over like that, I don't make a mess on my piercing mat, and I still get that cushion I'm looking for. So now I have Granny Apple Green on the bottom and Coastal Cabana on the top. And I'm giving you close-up shots to show you that I'm not doing anything different than what you can do. It is a very simple technique, and it works marvelously, especially in these happy colors. So I didn't want to overwhelm my page with a whole bunch of different colors, but these were my favorite combos that I had found in my experience. And the one little note that I want to make sure to express to you is that if you do something like this, random stamping all over your page, make sure you have room for the popsicle stick, because this one going down right here is going to interfere with the popsicle stick above. So I thought I had it all together, and I didn't. All right, we're almost done here. Again, just a little droplet of water. Those water painters are lovely brush tip. They're very fine. There's 3 of them. And the one thing that I noticed about the watercolor painters, or they're called water painters, I think, is that they screw on opposite the way you would think. Righty tighty, lefty loosey. Wrong. So that screwed me up a little bit. So just to share that information with you. So now I'm just sort of filling in the gaps. I know I'm going to trim this down anyway, but it is nice to have sort of more of a full section that you can, if you need to. It looks like it's random in that regard. And the nice thing is you're not putting too much water on this watercolor paper, so it's not warping, it's not doing anything weird, which is great. Here comes my popsicle stick. So this is crumb cake that I'm using, because popsicle sticks to me are lighter in color. And you know, with the price of wood nowadays, maybe these should be plastic. All right, so what I did have to do is cut out a mask, and then it wouldn't necessarily stick, but that's okay. I'm just going to position it in place, and then I'm going to put the popsicle stick right over top, remove it, and there you go. So I fixed that little problem. And now I'm going to activate the ink with my water painter. Or is it water brush? I'm not sure. These are new-ish, so, and I haven't played around with them much. All right, so I did trim this down, and then I put a sliver of black behind it. Now, it's been in my experience, anytime that you have a thicker watercolor paper like this, you need some extra strength behind. So I did a very tight border, like a 1/16 of an inch. It is so small, but it just gave me a little bit of extra support for that watercolor paper. And then and that's the reason why I'm using wet glue too, because it's bumpy on one side, and sometimes the dry adhesive doesn't stick well to watercolor paper. So now I have adhered that all in place. I love the sliver of black on it, and you can see the white card in behind as well, but not too much. The thing is that the watercolor paper and basic white cardstock are two different colors. So that's the reason. This is also watercolor paper that I'm putting the sentiment on. And I stamped twice because sometimes you just really have to ink it up really well. I got a better impression the second time around. I trimmed that down, and then here is my crumb cake again and my watercolor painter, and this is just an extra piece of the Fluid 100. I am putting a wash of crumb cake on it, drying it with my heat tool, and so if you look at the card up in the top left, you see that the sentiment kind of gets lost. So I wanted to not have that happen. So I put glue on the back all over, make sure you get all four corners, and then I just trimmed a very slight border around that sentiment piece, and it was neutral enough, but it also made the sentiment stand out from the busy background. And then I put dimensional adhesive on the back, and that is my card for today. I'm going to put some opal rounds here and there, but that's it. You can see all the supplies I used today listed below in the video See More section, or the supplies section of my blog, and the links will take you to my Canadian online store. So thanks for watching, and bye for now.